something comes to mind is the hippopotamus used to get its teeth cleaned in the morning, and when you're standing here and the hippopotamus is there, and there he is, he's got his gape open, and it is like that, I can tell you, when it's got its mouth open, and the keeper's brushing his teeth and got the hose and squirting all around in his mouth, and he's thoroughly enjoying it, you know. Well, I started just basically as a zoo guide. I found that by talking to the keepers, I would learn as much as I possibly could, and then I would look up each animal and write down as many possible things about them, interesting things that people that I'm guiding around would want to know. The director asked me one day, just prior to Christmas actually it was, and he said, would you like to open up an information booth using that little thing? The zoo guides in particular weren't interested in taking it on. I thought it would be a very, very good idea. And anyway, I started, I think it was 1998, on the 26th of December, Boxing Day, was the first day I opened up for business. We weren't there for selling, we were just interested in telling people what was going on and so on and so forth. But me being a salesman all my life, I could see the possibility of selling something from there. So I used to go along to the zoo shop, which was about 50 metres down there, and say get a dozen or so books and badges, cloth badges that you'd sew on, and that sort of thing. And I'd sell them from there, and then in the evening time, before closing, I'd take the money down and the remaining badges that I hadn't sold. And I raised $168,000 over the 5 years that I was doing it. And then, of course, I left, and then they built this monolith there, to say, which has probably still got my fridge in it, you know. So, but I must go down and ask them if I can have it back. And things have improved by all accounts. They've improved no end. Instead of having cages, they then went onto enclosures. Like you'll notice that the baboons now are in a beautiful glade enclosure, and you actually look through glass, one-way glass, to look at them. I remember something that was well worth talking. It was when the chimpanzees came from Stuttgart Zoo, I think it was. They was put into the enclosure, and it ran up its pole. Then it gradually came down and went like this, because there was grass down there. It had never seen grass in its life. It lived in a concrete enclosure, and it was touching this grass to see what it was like. It made me cry, you know. And when we were doing some work with the chimps, no, the orangutans, we were teaching them how to crack nuts, and we'd put the brick there, and put the nut on there and crack it with a stone, open it up and give them the nut, then do it again, and then eventually after a few weeks we put the nut and the stone and the brick through the thing. They picked the stone up, the thing up, pushed it back out through the cage for us to break open for them. You know. Yeah, you know, things like that. They're heart-rending, really are. It's beautiful, and you know, to be around the animals all the time. I think I miss it. I really do. But there you go. You can't stand still. And I'll give you another bit of information too. When you stop, you get into a rut. Now the difference between a rut and a grave is the depth. Just think about it. Yeah.